It's been 2 years since the OnePlus Nord got a complete redesign, with the Nord 2 in 2021. In between, we had a mild spec bump with last year's Nord 2T. But with so much in common with its predecessor, it didn't really move the game forward. But we're finally getting an all-new Nord phone this year. This is the Nord 3, and OnePlus is promising a big step forward in terms of performance, camera quality, and battery life. But is that really the case? Well, why don't you come with me for a closer look. At first glance, the Nord 3 doesn't look all that different from the entry-level CE3 Lite. You've got your dual camera bumps, flat sides, and flat-ish front and rear glass. Good for consistency, bad if you want to stand out from people paying much less for their phones. But make no mistake, this is a different kettle of fish from the CE3 Lite, and whereas previous Nords have been content with being perfectly serviceable mid-range phones, the Nord 3 is going premium. Nowhere is this more evident than in the chipset. The Nord 3 gets a big bump in performance, going from a MediaTek Dimensity 1300 to a Dimensity 9000. It's a flagship-class chip, built on a 4nm process, although it is 2 years old at this point. It also means that, aside from the fact that this is the regular 9000 and not the 9000 Plus, the Nord 3 is effectively a non-foldable Oppo Find N2 Flip, and you'll find more similarities later on. Also, for the first time for a Nord, you get 16GB of the latest LPDDR5X RAM. That's the only configuration you can buy in Malaysia, which also comes with 256GB of UFS 3.1 storage. The Nord 3 should not only be much faster than its predecessor, but it's also much bigger. That's because you now get a 6.74-inch AMOLED display, which means it's actually a tiny bit bigger than even the flagship OnePlus 11. It doesn't have the same 1440p resolution, but at 1240 pixels wide, I doubt you'd be complaining. But the biggest upgrade is a jump in refresh rate from 90Hz to 120Hz. There's also less of a chin at the bottom, so the phone looks a bit more premium. All this is covered by Gorilla Glass 5. At the back, you'll find a 50-megapixel main camera with a 1/1.5-inch sensor and an f1.8 aperture. Yes, those figures are identical to the Nord 2T, but the sensor itself has been upgraded from the Sony IMX766 to the newer IMX890, the same one you'll find at the OnePlus 11 and the Oppo Find N2 Flip. You can now record 4K video at up to 60 FPS instead of 30 FPS before, and unlike the Flip, you get optical image stabilization as well. What hasn't changed is the ultra-wide, which still has an 8-megapixel sensor and an f2.2 aperture. OnePlus has also replaced last year's depth sensor with a 2-megapixel macro camera, as you can see from this really classy triple cam text. This is one area where the Nord 3 still shows its mid-range roots. Perhaps the only real downgrade over the Nord 2T is the selfie camera, which now has half the resolution at 16 megapixels. OnePlus does say that the Nord 3 has an improved portrait mode algorithm, which works not only on the front camera, but also the rear main camera. Powering all these things is a significantly larger battery, which has jumped from 4500 mAh to 5000 mAh. You still get 80-watt SuperVOOC fast charging, getting you a full charge in 31 minutes. And unsurprisingly, there's still no wireless charging. You also now get an IP rating for water and dust resistance, but the Nord 3's IP54 rating infers very little in terms of protection. That's especially poor given that even the Samsung Galaxy A34, which is surely much cheaper, boasts an IP67 rating. That is actual water resistance OnePlus, not this. Elsewhere, the Nord 3 comes with 5G, Wi-Fi 6, and Bluetooth 5.3 connectivity, along with NFC, an under-display fingerprint sensor, face unlock, Dolby Atmos stereo speakers, and OnePlus's traditional alert slider. There's also an IR blaster at the top, taking a page from Xiaomi's playbook. Lastly, the Nord 3 ships with Android 13, skinned with Oxygen OS 13.1. This is the first OnePlus phone to get the latest version of Oxygen OS, featuring an improved Zen mode, now called Zen Space, and an O Relax app that lets you play sounds and minigames to help you, well, relax. OnePlus has also given the Nord 3 more software support than previous Nord phones by adding 1 more year of support, giving you 3 years of major Android updates and 4 years of security patches. It's still not quite up to par with Samsung, but it's close. So that's the OnePlus Nord 3. It's a big improvement over the Nord 2T, sure, and it does bring back some of OnePlus's legendary flagship killer ethos that we've known and lost. But its success will wholly depend on the price, which as usual we do not have at the time of this recording, so we can't really give you a judgment on this phone just yet. Hopefully OnePlus is able to keep it around the 2,000 ringgit mark. If it's closer to 3,000, it might be a tough sell. Speaking of which, Nicole, can you put the price of the OnePlus Nord 3 here please? Yeah, thanks. So, is it a good price or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Now get this thing off the screen. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and ring the notifications bell icon so you don't miss any of our future videos. As always, stay awesome. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!